Over the past 2 years, headlines warned of an impending white-collar wipeout. They told us millions of workers would become obsolete line items. Trend watchers framed the arrival of artificial intelligence as an apocalyptic wrecking ball for human employment. The prediction assumed a direct one-for-one substitution. Machine arrives, human departs. Yet look closely at the data today, and system architects are quietly issuing corrections. The massive wave of structural unemployment hasn't materialized. This leaves us with a glaring question. How did the world's smartest forecasters arrive at a future that looks nothing like the one we are currently living in? The error likely wasn't in their assessment of the technology itself. To find the disconnect, we have to look past the code and examine how a modern career is actually constructed. Analysts relied on a factory-era script. In that mental model, a worker stands on an assembly line doing one distinct thing. Bring in a robot, and the worker goes home. But if you look at a modern career, it isn't a single horizontal action. It is a vertical stack of distinct layered capabilities. At the very base sits rote, rules-based execution. This is the mechanical friction of daily labor, data entry, transcription, and scheduling. The initial wave of large language models attacked this specific base layer, highly efficient at absorbing these repetitive patterns. Forecasters saw the bottom of the stack crumbling and declared the whole tower destroyed. They confused the automation of a specific set of tasks with the replacement of the entire human worker. What we are actually observing is a cognitive infrastructure upgrade. AI systems are operating as partners, shifting where human beings apply their focus. We can map this dynamic on a value chain diagram. When the machine absorbs the mechanical burden at the bottom, it forces human input upward, directing our energy toward higher-level thinking. Take a financial analyst. Previously, they spent their mornings manually pulling market data, cleaning spreadsheets, and formatting basic dashboards. Today, they prompt an agent to ingest that data instantly. The 4 hours they used to spend cleaning rows and columns drops to 4 minutes spent validating the model's outputs. With the calculation delegated to the machine, the analyst is liberated from the drudgery. They spend the rest of the day asking sharper, far more targeted questions. This elevation pushes workers into the 3 distinct pillars of the work stack that remain strictly human, entirely uncomputable by algorithms. The first is strategic judgment. A model can instantly simulate 1,000 different business scenarios, but only a human leader can weigh the ethical trade-offs and choose which specific future is worth building. The second is empathy. In a clinical setting, an algorithm can perfectly sort medical charts and flag physical risks. But only a nurse can sit at a bedside and prioritize the emotional needs of a frightened patient. The third is contextual sense-making. AI easily maps the data terrain of a project, but humans have to apply their lived experience, historical knowledge, and cultural nuance to navigate that terrain safely. We no longer gain leverage by producing a high volume of output at high speeds. Our value comes from applying judgment, empathy, and context to situations where the stakes are absolute. Zooming out to the organizational level, we see a clear reversal. Generating data is no longer the bottleneck. The true scarce resource is the human judgment required to decide what to do with that data. This changes the physical definition of our workspace. We aren't sitting at a desk executing rote commands. We are operating within an orchestration interface, managing intelligent systems. This chart shows the ideal Collaborativskapture, the trust loop. True partnership requires you to actively critique the machine's outputs, set the ethical red lines, and inject lived context back into the system. The real danger to your career is failing to adapt to this loop. You must deliberately stop competing with machines on rote output and intentionally climb toward these higher yield tasks. Economic leverage is shifting away from the volume of tasks completed and toward the quality of the decisions made behind them. Human work is moving to higher points of leverage. This integration clears away the mechanical noise of the workday, leaving space for human intelligence to operate at the edge of what can be computed.